Larry's mother's lovely mink coat transformed into a throw. Larry's coat was in very, very good condition. Here the coat looks black, but it really is a very dark brown. The customer chose not to use their own lining and chose a black satin lining that I will be showing you later. So I am going to be removing the lining and it will be packed away and sent back to the customer. There is a monogram on the original lining. Here I'm working the lining around the edge of the coat, going all the way around to the top of the collar and back down the lapel area. By the time I got to the sleeve area, I had turned it inside out. Removed the lining from the actual fur sleeve and it was filled with sawdust. I mean, completely filled up with sawdust. Then I worked on the other sleeve and again, tons of sawdust. But what was interesting was that there wasn't really that much in the bottom of the coat, which is usually where I find the majority of sawdust, if there is any in the coat. Next, I'm going to take apart the sleeves. Those will come off and I'm going to remove the lapel area, and then I start to work on making the strips. The bottom of this coat flared out quite a bit, so I'm going to be making longer strips. My first cut is always the widest, and then every additional cut that comes from the fur coat will be 8.5 inches wide. Here I'm going to remove the bottom of the fur. It was just leftover parts of the lining. Once I cut the pieces, I usually put them in a bag and I keep them all together and bring them down. Now I'm going to start working on the 8.5 inch width strips. They are much narrower than the original cut, but I like doing it this way. I am able to get more fur from the narrower cuts. Any extra pieces that I cut off, I will add on to additional pieces of the fur. And what worked out perfectly here was that the cut is actually right on the same line as the pocket area, so I didn't have to close the pocket areas up because I cut right through it. Again, smaller pieces will be matched with other smaller pieces, and eventually I will cut those up into strips or use them for the border. This is the sleeve area, and there is an awkward cut at the bottom because of how it was shaped. That's not going to be used in a strip, but it certainly can be used in the border area. These smaller pieces will be put together and also used to either be used as part of a strip or part of the border. Here the pieces are laid out. As you can see, I'm still missing one piece, so I'm going to use some of these pieces here in the border and some in a strip. There are the border pieces I'm starting to lay out. And that's what it looks like when it was all put together. And here is the custom backing. The customer chose to use cross hatching. It came out really, really nice. We used a bridal black silk. Bridal black satin, and it looks fantastic. Come visit us at dinahsquilts.com.